Right, it's time to do some advanced image tips and tricks. And there's not much we can do, but there's some cool, little workflow things I think you'll like. Let's get started. All right, so first trick is I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I want to bring in an image and crop it and not use a clipping mask. Okay, I want to delete the stuff. Okay, so we're going to go File, Place. Okay, and we're going to find the one called Bike or Desk, sorry. Click Place. I'm going to make it really big, okay, because what I want to do is I want it to kind of fit in a space about a third of my document, right? So at the moment, that's the space I want it to fill. And what we could do is we could grab this image and kind of get it to where we want, select both of them, hit Command 7 or Control 7 on a PC, and that kind of crops it down. We can double click it to edit it, get it how we want, right? Double click the background to get back out. Now the problem with this is that you can kind of see if I hover above the image, there's a red band around it. It means the image is actually still in there, which is kind of cool. I can get to edit it, I understand that. But let's say I want to get rid of it because A, it keeps the file size really big, having extra pixels that I don't need. And one of my big gripes is there's a lot of times where you're trying to export or kind of do things in it. I'll show you what I mean. Window, if I go to Assets Export, and let's say I want to export this for a website, okay, I'm going to drag it in here. You'll notice that it kind of doesn't match up to my crop mark. It actually matches up to the full image, okay, so it's not what I want. So what I can do is I'm going to close that down. I'm going to undo, undo. Okay, so what I can do is I want to get it kind of roughly where I think it should be. Actually, I'll give this a no fill. So that's the interesting crop that I want. And now I'm going to crop it for good. Okay, so it's not really anything to do with this. That's handy. But if I select the image, I can go to this one that says crop image. Okay, and I can grab the images here and it'll snap to that box. So with similar sort of process as our cropping mask. But if I click apply, that now is gone. Deleted all the other pixels. There's that line around the outside that I don't need. But that now, it's totally gone. If I go inside of it, it's just that image. Keeps the file size small. And when I use the asset export, I drag them in, it's just that guy. I know that looks like there's extras on the side, but it's not. It needs to be square. Awesome. Next trick. So the next one is I'm going to go File, Place, and I'm going to bring in multiple images. So this is quite cool. So I can bring in multiple images at once. And a nice thing is your arrow keys. So your arrow keys, can you see I've got 1 of 4, but let's say I want to put them in order. So I don't want this one yet. I can kind of cycle through them and say, that's the one I want that one there. And I want the next one is that guy. I'm just making it up, right? But yeah, you get that idea. And you can also, no, that's all you can do. Okay, so multiple images. Let's look at bringing in images a slightly different way. Let's go to File, Place. So there's 2 ways of bringing in images. We can link them, okay, or not link them. So I'm going to not link this guy, and I'm going to link the next person. And I'll show you the pros and cons for both of these. So you bike number 1, or link this guy, bring him in. Okay, so one guy's linked, one guy's not. You can kind of tell one's got the placeholder or the big kind of X in the middle of it. Now, the trouble with each of them, this guy here is linked, okay, which means Illustrator works a bit faster. This guy's embedded, so he's in the Illustrator file. It makes the file size quite big and makes the machine run slow. So if you've got lots of images, try and link them. Makes things fast. The only trouble with this is if you go and delete that image now off your hard drive, okay, bike 1, you go hit delete, it's going to go, hey, where'd that thing go? And so there's pros and cons. One of the things you can do though, say you've got one, you're like, actually stop being linked. It's a pain, okay, because I want to send it to somebody and I just want it to be all inside the Illustrator file. You can go to Window, go to Links, and here are my images. The ones that have this little image here means that they're embedded, okay, and this one's not, so that's linked. So you can, what I want to do is this guy I want to unembed. So I can right click it and say unembed. Okay, so it will ask you where you want it to put it, stick it on your hard drive, and we'll make it a link. Okay, so it kind of gets it out of Illustrator. This one here, I can right click and I can say embed this image and it will kind of yank it from its link and now it's stuck inside this Illustrator file forever. That can be handy. This links panel is just quite handy. Open it up because sometimes you've got like, depends who you're working with, right? I got friends that I work with and they work, I don't know how they end up there, but they end up with like a snail trail of design up there. And you're like, man, this Illustrator file is big. And you're looking at it here and you're like, huh, where's this guy? Okay, and you can click on, I think it's this option here, take me to link, and it shows me all the way up here is that file. Cool. All right, I'm gonna close that down and move on to our next trick. The next one is I'm going to create a new document, okay? And I've done a drawing in my notebook. I've taken a photo of it or of a scan, and I want to draw over the top, okay? So I want to put it on its own layer, maybe lower the opacity, make a new layer on top of that, lock the background layer, all of that jazz, right? We've done it before. What we can do is go to File and go to Place. Go down to, say, Curvature Tool, and I'm not going to link it, but I'm going to click this template. Okay, and let's click Place. It's pretty cool. It goes through and like, what's this? I can't click on it. It's faded out. It's on its own layer. It's locked. I've got a new layer to work on. Super handy. Last thing we'll do is we'll start pasting images inside of things. So let's say I want this inside of the text. Okay. All I need to do is kind of get it where I want it to go. I'm going to make mine kind of a bit bigger because I want to do this. Select them both. Make sure the text is on front and hit Command 7. Okay, or Control 7 on a PC. Cool thing about it, text is still editable. I need to double click it a couple of times. Old gag, I know. But yeah, I click off, click back in the background a couple of times, and yeah, so the image is inside and the text is still editable. Super cool. Now getting inside, say a shape like this, let's say I'm going to, it's a new shape. I'm going to make it, so it's just a pile of circles. If I do that with this, okay, and I go send it to the back, try to do the exact same thing. Actually, is it on its own layer? Sorry, I got it on its wrong layer. Anyway, so I've got you, I'm going to put it at the back, I'm going to select you guys, and I'm going to go Command 7, and it picks whichever one is at the top. Okay, so that's not going to work. So I'm going to select these guys and group them, Control G. Select these guys, Command 7. It works even worse. So what we need to do is not group them. So I'm going to ungroup them. And what we're going to do is go to make them a compound shape. The shortcut is Command 8. Okay, or there's that Command 7 that I was just talking about, and there's the Command 8. Make a compound path. And nothing really happens, right? You're like, whoop-de-doo. But magic, now if I do it, now if I do Command 7, Command 8, Command 7, that will happen. Awesome. That is it for my tips and tricks for images. Let's get on to the next video.